would he have time to do the repairs?
No, they don't
To
mind. No,
facilitate?
no, I think they don't mind hiring somebody, but they don't feel like they don't want to get stuck in a situation where the house is gonna be more than $90,000 to fix it, and then now what?
Okay.
Because that's not their range to just which I understand. I said that's why you have to do a lot of due diligence and hire a lot of people who just gonna say, hey, this is. So I told them like the 90,000 that we even got is the highest of
Quotes.
the quotes that we got. So it was like between 50 to 90. So I'm like, most likely no one goes for the highest,
Right.
but we're not gonna base things off the lowest.
Yeah.
But we're gonna base off the highest because that's what it is. But
Yeah.
we're assuming that that's not how much you're gonna spend.
So my thought is the reason. So now they're considering just buying some land and building a house from scratch on the land. Okay. They feel like that will be easier than.
I mean, I haven't. This is what I got last night
Alright.
at 1:00, and I messaged her, so she said she wanted to talk at 6:30.
Today?
I told her, yeah, because I was like, hey, do you want to talk so I can see
Yeah.
where this idea?
It's coming from.
Because I asked, I said, have y'all talked to builders? Because I'm sure someone talked to a builder and said, hey, if you go find land, I'll go build it for
build
you.
a house for you. Yeah. So what I would do is when you talk to them today at 6:30, is you need to ask a lot of questions and to get an idea of the conclusion you're probably going to come to, but you don't want to come to it. You want them to discover the conclusion. Is that it's more difficult to build a house from scratch than it is to rehab it. Now, you can't tell them that though, because they're not going to receive it. You need to help them discover that on their own. And the way that you do that is by asking a bunch of questions to get an idea of where is it coming from.
Okay.
And then it's probably going to come to the point of, well, like you said, who did you talk to? They talk to somebody. You're going to find out what that person told them. And based on what that person told them is how they formalized whatever thought that they've come up with when it comes to that.
Okay.
Right? Now, there's a difference between reality and actuality, right? So in actuality, we know as professionals that it'll be way more intensive than building a house from scratch than rehabbing this house. So we know that in actuality. But in their reality, based on whatever information that they've been given, they think it's easier to build it. So, so you're going to have to help them adjust their reality.
So the only thing is, because I don't want to say things, because I've never really worked with a builder who can randomly just build whatever property on land. I mean, what would be the bigger cons? The pros and cons. So in a way, if I'm explaining it, because I can't help somebody get to say it's harder. Maybe it isn't harder, and I just never worked.
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the financing piece. Like the financing is completely different when you get a construction loan. So they would have to get a construction loan. Like they wouldn't be able to use the FHA 203K. It has to be a pre-existing home. So I think it can go down to the foundation maybe, but it has to be some semblance of a house. So now the question is, if they're going to go that route, what kind of financing are they going to do? And in most construction financing, you got to put 20% down. So now, do you have 20% to put down? The second thing is that with construction financing, they're just financing the build. So how are you going to acquire the land? Do you have cash to buy the land? And then now that you own the land, then you get the construction financing, which is the 20% down to build on the land. So it becomes a lot more complex. So a lot of it, I think, is that they just don't understand the process. And once you kind of lay it out, I think what you're going to find out is that they're not even in a position to where they can do that. Because building a house requires that you have a lot of cash.
So you have 20% for the build the property, plus you had to put cash down just to even buy the property
to get
outright.
the land, because there's not really many banks out there that are financing land. Right.
So you have to pay cash for that.
Right. So even if you find a bank that's going to finance cash, I mean that's going to finance the land, they're going to have to put 50% down. So now you got 50% down for the land and the 20% down for the construction financing.
And
so
that
you got
depends
to
on
be
the home that you're trying to get.
correct. So you got to have enough cash. So they may not be that liquid.
So and let's say they're just, I like to give best case scenario, they're that liquid. Then after that, then it's like, because I mean, I feel like I don't hear too many good things with these,
Well, I think the biggest thing is that if best case scenario, they are that liquid. It's about figuring out why they don't want to, like, why does building a house seem as a better option to them? Why does it seem like it's a better option than what they're already doing? Because for me and you, this option is the better option, but it's based off of our expertise and what we're exposed to every day. For them, for whatever reason, there's a thought
Yeah.
Where they think that building the house from scratch is better, it's easier, it's not as frustrating, it's not as difficult, it's something.
I think they think they're getting it exact. I think the only fear I have with that as well is just they're going to, unless that builder has a property they built already that they can walk through. If you have not walked through it, that's a big commitment.
No,
especially if that's your first home buyer.
Right. So your challenge is going to be you helping them discover that.
Yeah.
See, because everything that you're saying, you know, like we know the answer. The problem is that they won't receive it unless we help them come to it themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We good?
We'll do that.